Hey, everyone, JB here. We are getting ready to kick off day 3 of our SaaSPRENEUR 3-day workshop. It's been a fun, knowledgeable, unique last 2 days, with today being the grand finale. If you haven't had a chance to tune in, you've been missing out. We have Frank Kern, the original marketer, the OG, cool as a cucumber himself. Frank, how you been, man? Good morning. I feel like we haven't talked in a couple of days, but we've been literally back to back.
Dude, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm the original marketer thing. I'm not at all. I'm just still doing it. I think
I always
that's
like
how you get to be like an OG is you just like never stop doing the thing. And then suddenly people think you're more important than you are. It's awesome. I'll take it. Really, it's pretty good.
But Frank, every time that we get a chance to come on here, I get tons of messages to say, "How is it like, partnering with Frank on this, or how is he like behind the scenes?" And it's pretty neat where you start to learn and see how
Just how
people.
terrible a person really is.
No,
You're like, this
no,
guy is the,
but
I mean, talk about
it's more of
diva.
like the perspective, man. And sometimes it's like, man, maybe I'm overthinking a few things, or maybe I'm doing things totally wrong, and or this, that, and the other. But I always appreciate it. I had to share it because this my email will literally blow up once we get off. How was Frank? Can I get me Frank? Can we talk? And I know you're chill. You're like, bro, you come to my house and knock on the door, like, and real simple. But um, I know we got a lot to uncover today, and I'm trying to lighten it up here a bit because
This
in
is the
some of the
big scary part.
yeah, this is a little bit of the scary
This is
part.
the one that everyone's, at least I would be, like, oh my God, I'm going to have to talk
Yeah.
to somebody. And what if I mess it up? And this is going to be terrible. And there's going to be a billboard in the city and it's going to say, this person's an idiot. And that's the big fear.
Uh,
So, yeah,
I,
I hear you.
Absolutely, man. And I panic sometimes with this stuff. Like, I'll talk myself out of it, and it's kind of real. Things you shared, it's like, dude, just lighten up, man. And I'm like, it's easier said than done, Frank. You just don't lighten up. I mean, my coffee's light, but how do I lighten up? And I know you'll
Wow.
go over this here, but look, y'all, I want you to jot down in the questions in the comments below, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook. If you like, what's holding you back? What could we just push to the side today and get you across the finish line? Let
Well,
me know in the comments
it's the
here.
Illuminati. That's what's holding us all back.
Oh,
Yeah. That's why I've got tinfoil implants. I've got the implants made of tinfoil, keeps them out.
keeps them out. There's always I never thought of it like that. That's a fun fact of the day. I love it.
So I'm
Look,
just going to take that one part of today, and that'll be the clip.
that'll be the main clip
Yeah.
that Restream says, hey, this is the one to spotlight. We're gonna officially kick this off. So look, y'all are joining in on day 3. Our agenda today is how to sell without selling, featuring Frank Kern. And he's gonna go over today why this works. So he's gonna go over understanding buyer psychology, why local business owners don't respond to these sales tactics, how authenticity and transparency creates that trust. Then he's gonna go over step by step this framework on how to sell without being salesy, where he'll do the step by step flow of that conversation, what to say at each stage, and then he'll give you the Frank's real world bullet point approach versus this traditional sales script. So if you're excited about what you're about to experience here for the next, let's say, 50 minutes, let me know in the comments that you're excited, that you're committed, that you're ready, that you're in it to win it, and we're going to do our very best to get you all those answers. Frank, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of put myself here to the bottom right. If you need me, just give me a holler. But I do want to make sure that the audience has their attention on you, and we can go fast with this. So there's no excuses.
All right. And hey, whoever those folks are that said that they got responses, hats off to you, ladies and gentlemen. You actually did it. We could be talking to like a million people right now. I mean, I know we're not, but hypothetically speaking, and probably 37 of those million people would actually send the email yesterday. And you did it. And so thank you, because that is really the true like secret, is going, all right. And then there's like following the directions. Very, very few people do that. So thank you for doing that. And I'm glad that you got responses. And I'm sure not all of them were like, please take my money. And that's normal. That's all right. Because if they are not interested, you can go, great, bye, and on to the next one. So Here we are now. They've replied and they're interested. Now what? This is a big fear, by the way. I remember reading through a lot of comments and stuff and high levels group and everything. And that was a big one. Like, what do I say if someone actually wants to talk to me? Like, I'm going to blow this. It's going to be terrible. I'm going to look stupid. Exactly the type of thing that I think about all the time. Incidentally, you're probably never going to meet someone as neurotic as me. So speaking of neurotic, I've got to go buy the slides because I have ADD of the ultimate magnitude. So forgive me for breaking eye contact and looking at my slides. If I don't follow these things directly, I'll go off on a dang tangent. And next thing you know, we're talking about I don't know, my favorite movie or something. So what we want to do is not be a traditional pushy salesperson that nobody likes. At least I don't. I hate it when people try to do that with me, and I don't want to do it with anybody else either. So we're going to use demonstration because I don't really expect anyone to believe me. Nobody believes salespeople, really. If I'm like, I can fly, you're like, sure you can. But if I'm like, hey, check this out, and I just start flying across the room, you'll be like, damn, dude, how did you do that? Demonstration, right? So person was interested. You're like, okay, cool. Let's talk over Zoom. You don't have to go see them or anything like that. You jump on a Zoom with them. You could be in your basement. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be in a fancy office. You can even tell them you work out of your house. Nobody cares, especially when you're hyper local. So you're on that Zoom call, and it's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? What's my script? Okay. So open with a greeting and a minute or two of chit chat. And this is like slide version of saying, be normal, and if you're nervous, tell them you're nervous. And if you've never done this before, tell them. So hey, John, this is Frank. Thanks so much for responding to my email. I got to tell you, full transparency, I'm a little bit nervous. You're the first person I've actually talked to about this. So thank you. How's it going, by the way? It's going pretty good. All right, cool. That's all. Just be a normal person. There's no script or any of that kind of stuff. They'll see right through it. Just be you. And so now let's reveal trademark patented the no script super chill version, brought to you by High Level. Okay, so if you have to have a framework, you could do this: rapport and confession. So rapport is, hey, how's it going? Confession is, I'm not a professional salesperson. I'm a little bit nervous, kind of new to this. All right. And then we ask them questions. So here's a little framework for you, but don't script it. All right. So, hey man, how's it going? Cool. Thanks for, responding to my email and stuff. How many reviews do you get now? And let me see if I walk through this in detail so I'm not being great. All right. So how many reviews do you get now? By the way, their answer to these questions are irrelevant. All right. So it doesn't matter. If you know how many reviews they're getting and they don't, you don't have to demonstrate that. If they think they're getting more than they are, you don't have to tell them they're wrong. All we're doing is establishing that they in fact want reviews. So, all right, a little nervous, never done this before. Now I'm here. Okay. So how do you get reviews now? They're either not getting reviews now, or they've got some sort of system, and usually the system's not working well, and it's typically an employee, and the kids at the cash register are supposed to do this, and they don't, or whatever, or maybe they do. Who knows? There's no wrong answer. We just want to know what they're doing, And do you know how many reviews your competitors have? All right. And then they'll say yes or no. And at this stage, if you want to, because remember that prospecting tool, you can type in Italian restaurants and La Jolla or whatever, you can actually see what their competitors are doing. So at that stage, you can tell them if you want to, which is only going to trigger their jealousy and their desire to have more, because it's human nature. Human nature always wins, by the way. It's like a secret sales technique. Find a way to go with the tide of the mighty river, which is human nature. We don't want to go against human nature. We're going to lose. All right. So next question is, do you want more than them? How many of them are going to say no? If they do say no, say, okay, cool. Do you want more in general? If they still say no, then all right, well, anything else I can help you with? And you can just end the call, but they're probably going to say yes. But if they say no, don't panic and just be, all right, see you later. Okay, so let's assume they say yes, all right, which obviously most of them are going to say. And you're like, all right, well, I promise I'd help you do it. So you want me to show you how to do it? What do you think the chances are that they're going to say no? So they'll say yeah. And then we're going to do a demo, but we're not even going to actually get technical and use the system. So here's the doing of the demo part. So they said, yeah, all right, sure. How do you do it? Okay. And this is our demo. So first, we'll design and print up some nice in-store QR codes that your staff can point people to when they see a happy customer. Looks like that, or whatever the heck you want it to look like. High levels thingy can be printed on anything. You can make it look whatever you want it to look like. That could go on their tables if it's a restaurant. It could go near the, what do you call it? The credit card machine, where you tap your credit card and there's the little review thingy right there. That alone is not going to be enough to get them a significant amount of reviews. So next we do this. Next, we'll set up an email and text message. You can literally just steal these slides. Next, we'll set up an email and text message review request template so you and your staff can easily fire off a request whenever you know you have a happy customer. Simple. All right. Especially if they're one of those businesses, which a lot of local businesses are, where at the point of checkout, you're entering your contact details or your phone number. I go to this juice place. It's a classic example, by the way, of proving that businesses don't know what the hell they're doing. I go to this juice place regularly because my doctor said I'm horribly unhealthy and I need to drink stuff to detoxify my Keith Richards blood. And every time they get my phone number when I place the order on the little thingy, and they never follow up with me ever. It's been 6 months, ever, nothing. So getting results for these people is really easy. So anyway, we get this stuff and then we send them automated review requests for you. All right. So this is a little screenshots of what they look like. Okay. Now, what we're doing is we're showing them, again, you're welcome to just take these slides and remove the word you from them if you want to. So when they click the review request link, it'll open straight to the leave a review window in your Google business profile. So all they got to do is tap the stars and type. Guess how you know if they have a Google business profile? Remember that prospecting tool I showed you yesterday that High Level just gives us? It tells you. So we can just email the ones that have a Google business profile so you don't have to worry about them going, I ain't got no business profile. It's really, we're going for the lowest hanging fruit here. So just show them, all right, that's what it looks like right there. Okay. And then check this out. Next, we'll put a little thingy on your website that displays your new 5-star reviews as they come in. Oddly, we can make it where it doesn't display the bad reviews, just the good ones. I'm 97.8% sure about that, but you might want to check it. Pretty sure I'm right, but it is me. But all 6 remaining brain cells are working today. I counted. All right, so slap one of these on your website if you want to, so people see how cool you are. And there's all kind of different ways it can look. So, we can make it look however you want to. But now people are seeing it when they go to your website. All right, cool. And this is really cool. We also connect to your social media system. So we automatically turn your 5-star reviews into awesome looking social media posts for you that go out and show everybody how freaking cool you are. And voila. By the way, if you want to, you can even use our social planner to schedule all your social media posts across all your different social networks. It's a great way to make sure you're posting consistently on autopilot, which they may care about or not. They might just want it to happen automatically. Doesn't matter. We can do either one. All right. So hot diggity, look at there. Ain't that something? And then you're framing the call. Okay. So that was like a big picture of how you do it. And now we'll go back to, so pretend we didn't do all of that stuff just then. And let's start at the top. So your first time Zoom, super nervous, All right, John, you did your rapport and everything. Okay, well, dude, I know we're both busy and I want to respect our time, so I'll get us started here. You don't have to follow this word for word as an example. I got you for 15 minutes, and if it's okay with you, I'll just ask you a couple questions about your current situation. And then after that, whenever you're ready, if you want me to, I'll explain a little more about our service and answer any questions you might have so you can decide if this is something you want to try. Sound cool? Sure. If they're busy, then don't just say, okay, you want to reschedule or what? If they say, yeah, all right, cool, reschedule. If they say no, then bye. There's so many more of them than there are of you. This is why I don't get worried about it. It's like, okay, next, there's only 100-something million of y'all. There's 5 million started every freaking day. Like, go, all right, then, go hungry if you want to. I don't care. I have the magic machine. You don't. So off we go. And then in a structured way, just, in case I was going fast there, you're like, all right, well, remember when I reached out to you, you currently have about this many reviews in Google. Do you know how that compares to your competitors? This is my way of doing the same thing we just did, but giving you a written version of it to reference. So I don't mean to be redundant. If I am, I'm just trying to help clarify it, and then they're probably going to be like, I had no idea actually until you brought it up in your email. And be like, yeah, super common. But you can see, like Google relies on the reviews to rank businesses, right? And then if they say, no, I don't think that's how they rank businesses, you can go, all right, cool. And if they say, yeah, that makes sense, you can say, all right, cool. It doesn't matter. All we need to do is establish that they want more reviews. Okay. So, hey, when you do get a review, do you have a system in place to reply to it and all that kind of stuff? They'll say yes or no. All right. If they say yes, great. If they say no, great. Doesn't matter. All right. So assuming they don't, all right, you say, all right, that's super common. But Google and people see replies to reviews as an engaged business, and that like builds a lot of trust, and that makes sense, right? And then they'll say yes, or they'll say no. And if they say no, you'll be like, well, I could be wrong. Who knows? And then move forward. There's no point in trying to overcome any sort of objection. All we want to do is figure out if they want more reviews or not. So now we can ask them, hey, have you ever thought about showcasing your best reviews on your website and social media as like social proof? We have, but it's a pain in the ass. The kid next door built our website. He's an idiot, whatever. We don't have time. Or, yeah, we have that. Doesn't matter. All right. Gotcha. Okay. Well, if you're like me, you probably like to read a few reviews before you commit to a business, right? Like even on Uber Eats, check to see which one has the most reviews and stuff. It's just normal. Doesn't matter what they say. If they say, yeah, I do, cool. If they say, no, I never read reviews, like, man, that's amazing because most people do. But that's awesome that you just know what you want, you go for it. Doesn't matter. No, we're not in the business of being right. Okay, so we don't care. So onward. If you want to, you can say, all right, this is my last question. If you had to guess, how much is a new customer worth to the business? And they'll either know or they won't. 99.999% of them are going to give you a number that are either A, they're going to say they don't know, or they're going to give you a number that's wrong. So be prepared for that. And all we want to do at this phase, it doesn't matter if the number is wrong, by the way, unless it's like super high, then maybe you want to be like, man, that seems really high. That's awesome. Just because you don't want to accidentally, be misleading or something to them. That's the only reason you would ever want to deviate from the just agree with everything. But it's highly unlikely they would give you an inflated number. If anything, it'll be way too low. So, all right, cool. So all we're doing now is just recapping what we just said in the past 2 minutes, because that whole section right there is 2 minutes. So you're like, all right, so make sure I understood everything right. Your competitors have more reviews, so, they're probably getting more traffic and stuff. And I'm pretty sure that we're on the same page that if you reply to the reviews that you're getting, then that's better than if you don't. And pretty sure we're on the same page that showcasing your reviews on your website and social media is just going to make you look better and make it more likely that people actually come in and do business with you because it's common sense. And your average customer is worth $12.19 or whatever the hell they said. Doesn't matter. Again, just as long as it's not so high that it can't conceivably be true, and in good conscience, you can't let them have that bad business math because you care. That's the only reason you would ever argue with them on that. So now, all right, well, I can see an opportunity for us to move the needle for you because our system can take care of all of that stuff, which would lead to more traffic and more conversations and more sales, which would be pretty sweet. And then get them to agree to that or not. So they're not going to say, no, we don't want that. So they're going to agree to that. All right, cool. Let me show you real quick how we do it. And then you show them the following slides. So the version I gave you is a slightly scripted version, or you could just use the outline, which is what I prefer to do because it's way more natural. You know what I mean? Either way, we got you covered here. But all right, here's how everything works. All right, so no matter what you're doing, this is what's going to work. You want something that's going to make one of these, and then this is critical. You got to have something that's going to send out review requests to your customers. That's mandatory. If you're not doing that, you're hosed. You got to have a system that does that. You don't have to tell them it's your system. You're educating them. And dude, when they click a review thing, it's got to go right to your Google thingy. It can't go to some random thing that nobody sees. It's super important that whatever you're doing, it goes immediately into Google. That's the big magic. So that's important. And you got to have a thing that'll put it on your website because it matters, people care. That's just normal. And we all know this. And you have to have it so it can look good. You don't want it to just clash. So it needs to be customizable, obviously. And you need something that when you get a good review, it tells the world about it on social media. That's important. And that needs to be easy and it needs to be automated unless you just have all the time in the world. And my guess is you don't. And if you do have a lot of time, then you can even schedule all these reviews to be posted whenever you want them to, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. So our system does all of that kind of stuff, and it gets you the reviews, which drives more traffic, which gets you more conversations and stuff. And that can, of course, lead to more sales. So that's how it works. Now, what questions can I answer for you? Ask any questions that they want, and then keep doing that until they ask you how much it is, which is probably going to be the first question they ask you. How much is it? So we're not asking them if they want to buy. We're making them ask you, how much is it? Which is a translation, translated, I want to buy it, assuming I think it's worth the price. That's a buying question. So whatever you do, However you handle this conversation, that's your close. What other questions you got for me? How else can I help you? Until they say, how much is it? All right. And how much will this cost? So you can just tell them, or you can do this little thing. That's a good question. Let's cover it. Before we do, I want to affirm or confirm, assuming the price is good. Do you think this is worth messing with for you? Do you think it would be a good fit? Yes. If they say no, which why would they? Why would they ask how much it is if they don't think it would be a good fit? Then we don't go forward with the call. But this part here, optional, it's getting them to pre-commit, basically. It's a little psychological sort of, I won't call it NLP because I don't know NLP, but it's a thing. It's a psychological thing. That's the technical term for it. We're getting a little bit of pre-commitment because our brains are wired that if we make a commitment, we have to follow through with it or else we're bad people. So they'll probably be like, yeah, great. And now you quote them whatever the heck you want to quote them. I don't know what to charge for it. Just whatever you want to. Here's an example. You charge whatever you want. I'm not here to tell you what to charge. All right, cool. So the cost of the system is $297 a month. It costs $300 to set it up. We don't have any discounts or flexibility on that except for one, which is that for our brand new partners, if it's a good fit and they're ready to go right away, then I can waive the setup fee for you if you want to go ahead and get started. And then say nothing. Just sit there. And dude, I don't care if it's freaking 10 minutes. Do not say anything. Let them talk next. All right. And don't tell them how great it is. I mean, just tell them the damn price. If you want to waive the setup fee, you can. If you just want to say $297 a month, no, it doesn't matter. But don't freaking say anything. All right. Because they just asked you how much it was. And you just went through that pre-commitment thing, or you chose not to. It doesn't matter. But quit selling. All right. And let them be the first ones to speak. Okay. If they give you any objections, you can handle them. And really the only objections that are worth handling are, well, I don't have time, which, yeah, of course you don't. That's what I'm here for. Or I don't want to have to learn anything new. Of course you don't. That's why we automate everything for you. So it just happens. Those are the only objections worth dealing with. Any other ones, I wouldn't even respond. I'd be like, oh, okay, cool, man. All right. Well, so do you want it? Yes or no? Yeah. Okay. Like I wouldn't even address the stupid objection. Yeah. Yeah. Like if they're like, oh man, that seems expensive. Yeah, I know. So do you want it? That's it. All right. And so now they're in, say, okay, cool. Well, I'm going to share screens with you here. So if you want to share yours with me, that's fine. And then you can literally on Zoom in the chat, just send them a link to your order form and just watch them sign up right there. And I think that's important. Don't let them say, oh, yeah, send me the link and I'll sign up later. Like, no, we don't do that. There's, I sent that same email to a lot of people. This is first come, first serve. I'm one person. So if you want it, I can do it for you, but I'm not going to chase you and do all of that kind of stuff. Not to be disrespectful to you or anything, but we're talking right now. Do you want it or not? That's it. So send them the thing, get them to sign up right there on the call. Don't let them off without signing up. If they're like, oh, I don't have my credit cards, then you can just be like, okay, I'm going to assume that's a no. And that's totally fine. I'm cool with that. But I'm going to go ahead and put you down as not really interested, but super polite and don't want to tell me. And I get it. So that's fine. And then that might force their hand. They might be, oh, no, dude, I can get it right now. Hang on. You never know. But I'm a big fan of that. And you ain't got to beg for money. Like, no, I don't think so. They are not getting the result. You have a magic machine that gets the result. Do you want it or not? It's not expensive. There's no logical reason why they wouldn't do it. All right. So here's what to do. If you haven't done this, and I'm imagining people have questions about this because it sounds so simple. It really is. First couple times you do it, it'll be weird, and that's fine. But then you'll be like, oh, okay. You just kind of stick to the outline. So if you haven't done this yet, for the love of Christmas, go to that site, and let our homies at High Level set stuff up for you. So you don't have to read the directions and get all weirded out. The directions are actually not hard, but I mean, come on, who's going to read them? I don't ever. I just refuse. It's one of those things. I'll just have stuff that doesn't work. I'll be like, well, it doesn't work. Why didn't it work? I don't know. Well, what does it say to do in the instructions? Like, what kind of person do you think I am? So let them handle it. Alrighty. So that's the thingy. Is this thing? I think that was my final instruction. Yeah, that was. So to get it set up to where when they're ready to go, you can actually turn it on and everything. Go here and let High Level help you get everything set up. And that, I believe, is we are witnessing proof that I don't know how to use Google Slides. Let's see. Yeah, that's literally it. So it's that simple of a conversation. Don't pull out the damn software. Please don't tell them about the other features. Don't get techie. If they ask you technical questions, be like, dude, I don't know. Do you know how your iPhone works? Like, I have no idea. I just know this thing works. You want to try it? And that's it. Just normal, and it's okay to say, dude, I don't know. It works really, really well. And good Lord, that was a fast one, probably because it's simple. But yeah, that's how you handle the sales call. Rapport, admit that you're not a pro, admit that you don't know everything, find out what their situation is, see if they know how many leads their other folks are getting, see if they want more, get them to tell you what a customer is worth. And the reason you do that is because it anchors in their mind the comparison to whatever you're charging. So like if one customer is worth like $200, it's impossible for logic to win the it's too expensive argument. You're like, so you're telling me you don't think you can get 1.5 extra customers from this? I just want to make sure, that this is like, you understand the math here, if you even feel like countering the objection. But personally, I'm not an objection handling guy. I'm like, all right, bye. But I'm nicer. All right, cool. Anything else I can help you with? And that's how I like to end those calls. And after the first couple, once the nerves settle down, you should be able to close at least half of them easy, unless you're charging like a shit ton of money or something. But reasonable prices, no brainer, absolute no brainer. So that concludes how to sell stuff, specifically this thing, without all of the awfulness. And they're going to come away from the conversation, whether they buy or not. Y'all are going to be, each of you are going to have concluded that, well, that was a nice conversation. I like that person. So it's really hard to beat.
Yeah. And Frank, we got tons of questions. And I'm still trying to put together here
I'm
some
a 2-question
screenshots.
maximum answer. Every other question is going to be 1/2000th of a cent.
All right.
Why say free when we talk about the monthly cost later? Because everything you just showed them in that slideshow, like, okay, you need a thing that does this. You need a thing that does this. You need a thing that does this. Like, they don't know that. They don't, like, if you go back to the email, I'll show you how for free. I'll help you with it. You're helping them. So even if they don't become a customer, at least they know what to do, which is, okay, these are the steps. So if we go back and we look at, why does Google make stuff? I don't think it's Google. I think it's me. Why can't I figure out Google Slides? If we go back and we look at what's happening here, all right, and instead of saying, we'll do this, you say, okay, well, first you need a thing like this, all right? So people can scan it and review it. But if that's all you have, then you're not going to get that many reviews, because not everybody's going to do that. Like, some will. It's cool to have. Like, definitely don't not have it, but it's better to have it than not. But don't rely on it. You got to have more than that. Absolutely without question, the big thing that's going to drive the needle for you is you need something that's going to reach out to customers and ask them for reviews. And you can either have someone on your team do it, but obviously, like, you know how employees are, it should be something that just does this automatically for you. So you want to do that to increase your reviews. So notice I'm not selling, I'm even talking about high level. I'm literally teaching them what to do. So we are helping them. There's 100% delivery on that promise. Oh, and by the way, this is a big one. So don't like get sucked into the whole thing. We're like, okay, I got to make sure my reviews are all over like a million different things. The one that really matters is Google. So if you want to make sure your reviews get posted to whatever, Yelp, and I don't know, I don't live in the real world, so I don't know what actually is out there. By all means, that's fine. But the most important one, make sure whatever you're doing, that as soon as you get these reviews, it's going into your Google My Business profile. And you have one of those, by the way, because I checked, because you did. All right. And then also, I don't know if you do this now, but you're going to want to have something where you can show all of your incoming new 5-star reviews on your web page. It's important, by the way, that it doesn't look stupid or whatever. So make sure whatever that thing is, it can be made to like sort of go along with the general look and feel of your site. Otherwise, it's going to be ugly, and we don't want that, And also, this is huge, and this really matters. You want to always take your reviews and post them to social media, because people see that, and it's like an ad, but you're not really like selling anything. It's just people continuously seeing that, oh, this place is good. So it's really important that you have a thing that can do that. And if you're getting a lot of reviews, which if you do all this stuff, chances are you will, you might end up having so many that you can actually schedule social media posts to go out in advance because you've got so many coming in, And so if you want to, you should certainly do that, because otherwise you might forget and they might not get posted. So that's how you're fulfilling on that promise, and then, well, man, I wish I had something that would do that, just so happens we do. So you're helping them for sure. Okay. So you told them, here's how you do it. You didn't cost them or charge them anything how to do it. They could go figure out how to do it themselves, if they were taking notes. They could go, if they're smart and technical, potentially, they could build a system or duct tape some stuff together that does all of that. They won't want to, but now they know, So there you go. That's the answer to that question. I'm assuming that made sense. Roughly 30% of the stuff I say makes sense. Did it? Yes, was the answer. Hopefully this thing's still on. All right. Are there competitors to what we're offering here? Probably. I don't know. Yeah. The end. Don't say good things about them or bad things about them. Say probably. I don't know. Really. Have any of them ever come out and helped you like this before? No, obviously not. Otherwise, they wouldn't be answering or asking that question. So I don't worry about the competitors thing. How is this better than so-and-so? Dude, I don't know. I don't study so-and-so. If you think that they might be a better solution, then by all means, I don't want to, try to push anything on you that might not be a good fit. We don't do all that. You know what I mean? There's no point. Some of them are like, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to go use those other guys. All right, bye. You know why? Because look at the people who actually sent the email yesterday. They got replies. It's just not that hard. I really can't stress this enough. And it might sound like arrogance, but it's just supply and demand. There's more of them than there are of you. And you have the thing that they don't. So it's okay to get a no. And that's kind of a secret to this, is don't be attached to actually getting the sale. You care less. Next. There's 1,000 more just like you. You know, Dr. Jones, I wouldn't tell them that, but that's the reality. There really are way more of them. Like literally, if everybody on this thing today and everybody that like works at every competitor, if we all just never slept ever, and we're just constantly talking to business owners, we could not saturate the market. Like we couldn't sell every one of them. There's too many of them. So that's just the factual reality there. Okay. How do we actually get them more reviews? Okay. Remember this part. This is how you do it. And let's think through this from a logical perspective. So right here. Where do we get our list of prospects? Two places. One from brainstorming. The second one from going to the prospecting tool and typing in La Jolla, Italian restaurant or whatever you want to type in. You can see businesses that are getting reviews. If they're getting reviews, they're getting customers. If they're getting customers, then we can put their customers through the automated review request machine automatically, automated and automatically in the same sentence. So I wouldn't make that promise to a brand new business that has never had a customer ever, because what if they never do get a customer? There's nothing we can do about that. That's beyond our control. So our whole system here is designed for the easiest possible win for both you and the customer. So that's how we actually get them more reviews, because chances are they're not doing this. They're not making this happen. They're not doing this. And like a real good chance they're not doing this. I mean, this alone, asking people for reviews automatically. I think I've had it. Oh man, there's one business. I'm trying to remember who it was. One business ever has done that with me in like the past 2 years. One, and for sure they ain't doing this. Posted it to social. You know what I mean? So there's that differentiator. But it was a good question. Okay. Cold emails can be tricky with spam laws. You need some sort of consent or you can get fined. Any suggestions to fix this? I'm not an attorney, and no one should take legal advice from somebody that looks like me. However, I would consider using Google because you're not spamming. Assuming I'm interpreting the rules correctly, don't take this as legal advice. The definition of spam is unsolicited commercial email where the sender is disguised, where you're not clearly identifying who it's from. So you're making it look like it's from somebody else, and there is no contact information for you. And in this particular case, like if you're sending 10 emails, you're not even using an automated thing. Like you're actually, copying and pasting, changing the copy and hitting send from your email thingy. That's not spam. That's just cold outreach. The definition of spam is mass unsolicited email that pretends you're not you and obfuscates who it's from and all of this other kind of crap. So it doesn't really fall under the Can Spam Act. But good for you for like actually caring about compliance. Most people don't. So nice. All right. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Hina Chow, maybe? Sent 20 emails so far. Sweet. Send 20 more, because I bet sending those 20 wasn't that hard. Sent 10, 7 to open, 0 responses. Cool. Happens. Send 10 more. All right. The fact that you sent 10 is amazing, but send 10 more. It's been 24 hours, no big deal. And for all we know, it wasn't the right email. It's okay. But don't stop. Like send another 10, and then tomorrow maybe send 20, and then maybe send 30. But just copy, paste, send. Like I wouldn't even bother building some automated, difficult technical thing, because I bet you it didn't take you too long to send those 10. You know what I mean? Let's see. How to find businesses that need more reviews when the first few already have great ones. I would call the ones that already have great ones and be like, you want to get more? Do you want to make these great ones like bring in more business? It's fine. Doesn't matter. So everybody's perfect. A perfect candidate except for the very number one winner. So the email that I wrote you applies to every single business except the one that has the absolute most positive reviews. So the more reviews, the better, unless they're number one. And then if they're number one, we could come up with another way to chase them. But like, why bother? Why not go play to the egos of the ones that are not number one? You know? Okay, let's see here. I want to narrow the scope of my services. Where should I focus first? Crazy answer here. Only sell the reviews thingy. You could totally like only do that, you know, and be fine. It's not get rich overnight, but like rarely is anything get rich overnight. But you know, whatever you're charging, let's say you're charging $99 a month or something. Just slow and steady wins the race. You end up with 100 people. They're not going to give you any customer service issues, by the way. It's like, it's not any complicated system. It's not going to break, you know. 100 people's damn near 10 grand a month. Just don't sprint. Just walk. Just send out your 10, 20 emails a day, and don't compare yourself to all the people on Instagrams and, you know, look how amazing I am. Just systematically, small daily actions compounding over time, or actually small daily actions repeated over time yield compounding results. That's the phrase I was looking for. So all of this, and I'm not saying you're doing this, but all of this thing where I got to go from 0 to 10 grand in 30 days or whatever it may be, it's just the most destructive and stupid thing ever, because you're putting this incredible pressure on yourself to sprint all the time, and nobody can sprint all the time. But if you're like, okay, I know that if I just continuously do these basic steps every day, over time, the results are going to start to compound and I'll end up getting there pretty good. Kind of like, God forbid, you know, if I just went outside and walked for 30 minutes every day, this time next week, probably no different. This time 90 days from now, probably down 10 pounds. Small daily action committed over time, you know, simple. Okay, now here's the next one. When should we introduce the price? During the call or at the end? When they ask you for it. Yeah, so if you remember that whole scripted / non-scripted, I really recommend you just follow the outline. You know, I just gave the sample conversations to sort of have some point of reference for folks who need that. We concluded that we show them everything, and then you just ask, hey, do you have any questions for me or whatever? And then they'll ask something, and if it's not about the price, then okay. Any other questions I can answer for you? And they'll either say, no, I'm cool. And at that point, well, obviously they don't want it. So cool. All right. See you later. Or they're going to ask you how much it costs. And typically the first question is going to be, how much is it? So that's when you introduce the price. When they ask you, you want them to have the illusion that they're in control of the conversation, which they largely are. We're just setting everything up to happen in the way we want. Don't know where to start. What's the simplest entry point? Did you miss yesterday? Go to the little list of businesses that you do business with and send them the magic email, and or use the prospecting tool like I showed you. And man, that thing's amazing, you know, and reach out to those folks and send the magic email. I say magic because it works really well, but you know, I'm not trying to make some sort of income claim or anything, just like hitting my microphone when I'm talking. Okay, let's see. Does product knowledge matter more than confidence in the offer? 1,000% confidence matters for sure. If they ask you how it works and you don't know, be like, dude, I have no idea. The company that powers this thing, it's called High Level, and I'm an authorized reseller of their stuff. And I have all the confidence in the world with them. They're giant, you know, we've got a gazillion people using them. I think their support team is over 1,000 people strong, like literally. But you know, like I'm definitely not. Okay, I don't know how the actual computer stuff works. I just know that it works. You know, kind of like you know that your iPhone works, but not exactly how. or how the internet works or whatever, like same thing, but it works real good. That's it. I wouldn't go techie. No way. You're going to lose them. Like they'll glaze over unless you get like one of those super technical people, and then they don't care about buying anything. They just care about demonstrating to you how technically proficient they are. How will AI search affect the strategy long term? It does. First of all, I don't know. I'm not psychic, but it doesn't matter, because not only are the searches or the results for the reviews and stuff being shown in Google, but we're also putting them all over social media and on their website. So I don't think it's going to matter at all. But if you're worried about it and you think it'll mess it up, then, don't do it, I suppose. I'm not personally worried about it. Okay. What do you do on a monthly basis as maintenance? Nothing. If they email you or something, then answer it. But, set it up once and then that's it. You know what I mean? Like you don't really have to. That's why I like the system so much. There's not a lot that you need to do. It just works. You kind of set it and forget it. It's possible they could break something. Things happen, but unlikely. And if they do, help them fix it. But that's all you do. There isn't any, okay, here's what you're going to get every month. It's like, okay, I'm going to pay San Diego Gas and Electric Company every month. And when I turn on the lights, they're going to come on. The end. Like that's my agreement with them. I don't know what they do or how they make it work, and I don't care. Let's say we get a client to work with. How do we handle the bad reviews for them? Well, I don't think you should, but they can, because they have the ability to respond to all of the reviews. And now this is where I'm going by memory. So let me make sure I'm right. I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. There's likely something in the workflow that you can create where if the review is bad, then it'll let the owner know, and then he can address, or he or she can address it, but that's the type of thing that you would want them to be able to address. Like, it's important. If you get a bad review, like, you want to be able to respond to it and to address it and all of that kind of thing. So I'm pretty sure that's baked in, but of course I can't remember because I'm on camera. Get me off camera, I'll know, but put me on camera, I'm like, just like everybody else. You know what I mean? Okay. In that case, do we just call them? No, I ain't gonna call anybody. I'm like you. Like, I'm so weird that if I'm in a hotel and the room service isn't orderable by an app, then a lot of times I just won't eat because I don't want to have to actually talk to the room service people. I told you, I'm like the most introverted person ever. So, hell no, don't cold call them. They want to call you. Like, the whole point of the first email thing is to get them to say, yeah, man, what do you got? And then, well, let's, I can show you. Actually, I'll show you how to do everything. Take 15 minutes. Here's a link if you want to jump on Zoom anytime this week. That's it. The end. No cold calling. I've done that. That is not fun. That's why I'm here today. Okay. To send customer review requests, you need contact info. We also need their permission in Canada. How should we handle that? When the customer, so you don't, your customer does, have the customer get the consent. So you could do that by, you might even be able to do it by verbal consent. I'm just not familiar with like the exact law in Canada, so I don't want to give you the wrong data. But and I'm not really sure if this type of email, which is a review request, would count under that Canadian law, because it's not a marketing email. It's, did you enjoy your experience? Will you leave us a review? So you're not trying to sell anything. But in the event that you need to get consent, it can be done with a checkbox on a web form, or it can be done verbally, most likely. But, Google that and don't trust the first answer. Like, read, the actual law or something. But this isn't a solicitation. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't sweat it too much. Okay. That one's so weird. For restaurants that don't collect customer emails, how do we automatically send review requests? Get them to collect customer emails. But chances are, and this is why that prospecting tool is so handy. So like, don't go after the people with no review requests, or no reviews. Go after the people who have less than others because they're clearly doing something, right? Like they're getting the data and like they're doing something, they're just not doing it properly. So I wouldn't really bother with the ones that don't have the customer email addresses. But in the event that you do, tell them to get the email address. Like most, and this is local, okay? So we're not talking about online. Most of them have those, I don't know who makes them, but they're the white things and you tap the card and then you can select your tip amount and all of that sort of stuff. Just make it mandatory that the customer enters their contact info. So you can set that up on your little credit card thingy. Just tell them to do that. And now they're getting the email address. Or get the staff to do it, but the staff ain't going to do it. So I wouldn't trust the staff. You could also bribe them. Give us your email address and we'll give you a free dessert, whatever. But personally, I would just go after the ones that already have some reviews, but not the most. That's the sweet spot because they've already got the stuff you can work with. We want to find the thing that's like, we don't want to take a boulder and go it from dead standstill to moving. We want to take a boulder that's moving forward and then just push it because it's already got momentum and we can get it to the destination a lot faster than if it was standing still. Hopefully that makes sense. That was a weird was it metaphor or analogy? Choice of words. Okay. When should I send the marketing audit during this prospecting? I wouldn't. Don't do that. All we got to do is be like, all right, these dudes have more reviews than you. This is bogus. I think you should have more reviews. That's it. Like, I wouldn't worry about the marketing audit. It's too much. It's like, we got to keep it super simple because if we start showing them all this other stuff, then now their brain's going to worry about other stuff besides the reviews. So like we have a mission. Let's get you more reviews. The end. So I wouldn't do the marketing audit stuff at all. People are, and I'm one of them, and I'm worse than most. We're weird. So we'll get distracted by things. If there's anything that could possibly take their mind off of machine gets reviews, good. We don't want to include that ever. We just want to, like, if you want to do marketing audit stuff, do it after you get them as a customer and offer them more things. Okay. If I already have a client with a large database, how do we automate reviews to a big list, build a review request workflow, and then take the contacts and put them into that workflow? It's, I don't know. I guess like make that a longer reply, but there's a recipe and high-level system for review requests, and you just take the database and put them in that recipe. Pretty groovy. Okay, let's see here. Review card stands. Look at there. See? Oh, where'd you go? You could get them those things, but I would downplay the significance of these. Like, notice how I was sort of doing it in that demonstration. I was like, all right, so like we want these, but that's not where most reviews are going to come from. So, you might get some. I mean, certainly if you're a restaurant, you put it on every single table and you train your staff to ask them to give you a review that could move the needle. But what really works is this automated stuff. That's how, because they've seen that they might have tried this and they're not, everyone knows about these things. So that it's not anything particularly new, but this is certainly, if you wanted to give them these things, that would be cooler of you than if you didn't, And this is a blank slide, and so's that, so's that, and so's that. So these are invisible questions that I could just make up. How did you get to be so good looking? Well,
I'm just gonna hide that one there real quick, Frank. I don't need you to get the imagination going. It's early right now. We're on the PST time zone. So for those of you that are on the West Coast, let me know in the comments. JB, Frank, I'm on the West Coast. I've been tuning in since early morning. And for those of you that it's around lunchtime right now or later than lunch, let me know you're on the East Coast, Mountain time zone, wherever you're at. Let us know in the comments. Frank, I didn't mean to throw so many of those questions, and there was a lot more, but asked in a different way. Thanks for unpacking it from your perspective, your expertise. And for those of you that have more questions, feel free to add them below. I tried to consolidate as many as I could, but I do want to share that High Level has updated tremendously the tool. And you talked about this earlier, Frank. And if you go into the left side, reputation management, and then you go, I'm just going to share my screen here real quick. If you go into reputation section and this top toolbar, you have overview, the AI summary, you have the requests where you can send out requests, you have the reviews where you're getting the reviews, you could sort by the sources, the widget, which you could pick different widgets and different looks and feels of how you want them to appear on your website, your listings. So this is a new part, Franks. It's been a minute since we've been doing it, but essentially there's so many different places that you could request reviews to. So as you connect your different platforms, you could actually get reviews on top of those as well. Um, and then settings. This is where when we first did this, Frank, back in September, and then again in November of last year, we didn't have this. So you have the review link, and I know you're familiar with this and with your team and stuff. But for those of you that are brand new, connecting all your social media, Trustpilot, Google Play, Capterra, any custom links, you could do so here. You could do review balancing, where essentially and this is like after the fact, after you follow Frank's formula and strategy, like now here's the muscle. This is why Frank said, just like let the tool do its job. Don't overcomplicate it. Once you get on the kickoff call, once you get on the walkthrough call, you'll know everything you need to know. And we have help docs. We'll get those help docs below. So you could do some studying on your own. But between SMS requests, email requests, WhatsApp requests, reviews QR codes, spam reviews, removing them, and adding integrations. Frank, this is the kicker. And this
No
is where
way.
you can incorporate Airbnb, AliExpress, Angie's, Amazon, Agoda. And we talked about this last year, and you're like, John, the heck with those companies. The heck with those companies, because now we offer the same thing they do. And I'm like, I never thought of it like that. And sometimes it's because of the UI UX. People are so used to seeing things presented in a certain way that they think, oh, because it's not that, this is not the same. This is the exact same thing. If you Google right now, reputation management, and a couple of big players are going to show up that are doing hundreds of millions of dollars, some of them are publicly traded. They're using exactly what we have here, just on their platform. You are the new local competitor. And this is nothing new than what Frank shared with you. This is just showing you the technical component of it, because a lot of technical questions came up, and it's a lot easier to show you than copy paste, copy paste. And then the GBP, Google Business Profile Optimization, new feature, incorporate that with the Ask AI, incorporate that with AI throughout the whole platform. Frank, like, what are we missing then? What do we need then in order to get our first paying customer? We have the technical down. We have the Frank Kern magical email. We have the Frank Kern years of experience strategy. We have the high level support and assistance. What else is missing?
Action to do it and like accept the fact some people are not going to want to do it. It's okay. It's just not a big deal. The thing that stops people is fear. And it's understandable, you know. I mean, it's like I'm not one of these I fear nothing people. I'm nervous all the time. I never leave the house. I'm so weirded out. But it's fear of rejection, right? Like we don't want to look stupid and have someone tell us no or whatever. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, sometimes you might end up looking stupid, you might botch the call or whatever. I've done it a billion times. You know what I mean? It's like I'm amazing at it. Didn't kill me. Some people will say no, and that's okay. So if you can manage to accept that something is inevitably going to go wrong at some point, You know what I mean? Like you'll get an angry email one day or something. If you're like, okay, this is going to happen. It's fine. It's part of being in business. And you just don't care about it because it really doesn't matter, you'll be okay. And you can just you can just accept the fear of it and be like, all right. And then when you finally get like that bad sales call happens, and the person's like, not only do I not want it, but I hate you, which is unlikely, but let's just say that happens. At the end of it, you'd be like, well, that wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. Oh my God, I've been worried about this whole time. So the thing that's stopping you from getting what you want to get is ultimately fear of judgment and rejection. That's it. And if you just accept the fact that you'll get a little, no matter what, you're getting judgment now. If you exist and people know you exist, they're judging you. People judge each other constantly. I'm judging all kinds of people that I don't even know, just making up stories about them in my mind. Everybody does that. So you might as well get paid. You know what I mean? You're getting judged anyway. You might as well be getting paid. That's my take on it.
And then Frank, one last thing. For some reason, someone says, this is too technical. This is outside of my ballpark. I'm just going to face the fact that this is not for me. Could you share a little bit about your experience with the affiliate portion of things, positioning High Level Tool as an affiliate, and maybe focusing on the reputation management of what kind of like what you did, showing us, but they could do it themselves and jump on their kickoff call and kind of work with High Level directly?
So you mean someone who's on our thing right now is
Let's
saying,
say, for example, I don't want to do an agency account. I don't want to sell this like a marketing company. I just want to let people know about High Level, like how I just learned about it. And I want them to know about the reputation management tool within High Level. So they get their affiliate link from signing up, and they do kind of like what you do. Is that lucrative? Is that something that could still generate, revenue for them as a business model?
oh, yeah. So I think the best way as an affiliate to promote High Level is on the merits of the software and not on like, hey, you can sell this thing, but hey, if you're a business owner and you have this problem, here's how to solve it. And by the way, there's this thing called High Level that actually works. It's pretty freaking cool, and you can try it for free here and just make a metric butt ton, which is a real unit of measurement of content that shows its capabilities. And instead of showing like every imaginable capability, I would probably find one or two and make content for a specific market that would benefit the most from those one or two capabilities. So that's where High Level can be intimidating, is if you try to use everything that it's got, because you don't have to, it's like some businesses benefit from reputation management, other businesses might benefit from the AI assistant stuff. I wouldn't try to cover everything. I would choose whatever like you think is coolest and then target the businesses that you think would benefit the most from that thing, and then just make content and tell them about it and say, hey, man, you can try it free. It's great. I'm an affiliate. I love these guys. Always disclose that you're an affiliate. It's the law. Drive them to a little page where they can sign up. It's pretty simple. And not everybody that goes there will sign up, and not everyone who takes a trial will become a customer. And that's true of every business in the world. So it's literally, this sounds so boring, but it's the law of nature. It is small daily actions done repeatedly over time. They yield compounding results. So day number one, you make a couple posts, nothing's going to happen. Day number two, nothing's going to happen. Day number 90, you got momentum, Month 6, like you're rolling, you're doing good. What happens is we expect miracles. Sometimes they happen, but I'd much rather go with like universal laws, small daily actions done repeatedly over time yield compounding results. If I smoke a cigarette today, I'm probably not going to get lung cancer tomorrow. But if I do every single day for 30 years, chances of that lung cancer are going to go up pretty high. Same thing with when you do good stuff.
Yeah. Well, Frank, this almost felt like a personalized coaching session with you these last 3 days. I forgot sometimes that we're live. And I want to just give a shout out to the audience for really putting some thought into the questions, engaging in the chat. If y'all don't mind, type in the chat below what's one takeaway you got, whether it's selling this as a high level user with an agency account or maybe starting your affiliate journey. As Frank just said, let me know in the comments what's the biggest takeaway. Frank, as always, we appreciate you, man. We appreciate what you do for our community and how you keep it fun and light. Anything else you want to comment or say before we log off here and get to the next cool thing we got planned?
I'll leave you with something that I really believe to be true. And that is that helping a small business owner succeed is an extremely, I'm going to use the word noble because I can't think of a better word and I'm on the spot. So we'll just say noble. It is an extremely noble thing to do because the person that owns the small business, if we look at all of those people, well, we'll just take the United States for, just because that's where I live and I'm familiar with this area the most. That is truly the backbone of this country. They take all of the risk and they provide the jobs, and they're the ones that do all the stuff that really keeps the country going. They're extremely important. So when you help them, you're making a difference to someone that really, really like benefits a lot from the help. So many businesses fail and it's devastating to the business owner when they do. So when you help prevent that and you help them succeed, you're really doing something good. It's like, again, I can't think of a better word at the moment than a very noble thing to do. And this particular thing, it can't not help them. It's not like things went south ever since I started getting a lot of good reviews. Like just that math ain't math. And so go when you do this, just understand, if you're scared about coming across as salesy or whatever, like you're doing a good thing. You're helping people, and the net effect of that is just good. And by helping small businesses, you're helping the country. And I have this, this dream that, like, man, if we could just increase profits by 1% for every small business in the country, we could totally change the entire economy. So that kind of thing keeps me up at night. Like, how do we do that? And that's the kind of thing you're contributing to. So if you are one of the few that go and actually do it, you're doing God's work. Go forth and do good.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you very much, Frank. Thank you to our audience. We're going to end it on that note.
All
We'll see
right.
you on the next one. Take care.
See y'all.